I'm back on the Elven Warrior Helm, and I've tidied up the comb a good bit, and I've got some detail in there. Feeling good about the shape. I've got these little thorns. What I did was a boolean against the helmet, and to get this kind of edge, I just selected that face and pulled it out. Pulled it down a little bit just to give us that volume. And then I'll perform another boolean, and that will be supplied separately to the helmet itself, the shell. Now I am at this stage of the decoration. There's all these fabulous swirling relief details, so I've got to mask those accurately, pretty accurately, and then extract a surface like this that I can then tidy up a little bit. So if I have a mask like this, I can extract that with a thickness of 0.1. I've taken off double because I don't need it to be that thick. I mean, I want to, well, yeah, it could sink inside. Yeah, okay, hang on. Let's have double because it's not going to be separate to the helmet. It's going to be supplied on the helmet. So if yes, you see, the thing is, I'm going to I want to smooth this a lot because the edge is just a bit, it's too hard. It's a softer look. You see this sitting on top of the this overlaid metal. So I need to soften it, but yeah, when I soften it, unless I mask it, I'm softening the back as well. And so that would be a problem if it was flush with the other surface it's sitting on, because you would have an undercut of smoothing. It needs to sit inside that surface. So let me see. Just do the smoothing. Yeah, it's a little bit raggedy in places because of the mask, and you can deal with that by more localized smoothing. Smooth down the bumps, as it were. You see these bumps? I can sort of treat those first, and then do the overall smoothing, but give special attention to the bumpy bits. You see that takes that down a bit. So it does need a really good smooth overall. Just do it manually. Have more control. I can still attack those bumps as I'm going along. Yeah, I've got plenty depth, I should imagine, for the... Yeah, see, look how deep that is. As long as it doesn't go through the shell, which I doubt it can do that because the shell's a pretty good thickness. But yeah, just smooth all that back. Those thorns can get sharpened. You know, it's not really worth worrying about too much in the mask. Sorry, I've had a nasty cold, and my voice and my nose is going to be a bit bad. Right, smoothing. Do some smoothing and then re-dynamesh your stretched polygons. Now there's all sorts of subtleties, like there's you'll have a slight pinch or edge when you have a larger area like this. It gets slightly special treatment, like here. Oops. You're gonna have, you know, introduce this kind of effect. Just a hint of an edge there. These are the kind of subtle details that the designers went for. Yeah, so I want to just make sure those thorns get a little sharper, so I can just pull them. If I just pull the tips very locally, like this. You know, nothing too crazy. And then can move on to the next. Masking. This one. To get the thorn, it's more like, you know, a longer curve on one side and a shorter curve on the other side. Gives it this kind of shark's fin form. This. Right, and it's just it sits a little bit too proud at the moment, so I just need to bring it down a little bit. And more like that. I need it to match the thickness of the other parts. And I'm going to make a join, obviously, between these areas. So, you know, I can cut that off right there and merge those two things. I could do that right now. Just get in close and have a good look. Just drag them into each other. Like that. Merge down the mesh. And a little smooth. And you wouldn't know it had ever happened. Smoothing is amazing. All right. I feel like it's a little bit too high. The one down here is kind of perfect. This thickness. So up here, I'm just going to push it back with a large brush. And you have subtleties like, you know, when I was doing this comb thing, you see how when you have these curves, this is all over the Elven designs, when it curves down into the surface. You see the spiral down at the tip. Not so much on these parts, but when you have a large volume, it tapers down into the surface. It looks a little bit ropey here. Just make some adjustments. Little fixes here. Little touches. Even it up. And of course, I can check and make much grander. Yeah, I've got symmetry on. I can make much grander edits to this shape. You know, once I'm not going to worry too much about the masking. I want it to be, you know, as accurate as possible. But I know that I can, you know, I can move this stuff around. So I'm going to check my, you know, obviously check all the positions after. But as it happens, this looks pretty damn good. Now there's another important one right here on the helmet, which is, it's got an overlap with the other one. And you don't see it very much there. I've got a 3/4 reference image. It's hard to see, but in fact there might be some real crazy amount of detail in here according to the reference, I might have a suggestion of wrong tool. I might have a pinch in other areas wherever it gets thick enough. You know, there's too thin areas that are too thin to consider that, but where it's thick, it seems to get it. It seems to get the ridge. This kind of ridge. So that's another detail that you have to consider. You know, it does make a nice difference. And yeah. These elven curves are really crazy. They've got to be just right. I feel like it's a bit too open here where it meets, where it branches, I mean. It needs to kind of tighten up a little bit there. You know, that shouldn't be too soft. Well, you can see how I could be here all day with this kind of behavior. Fortunately, there's not too many of these things compared to the shield, for example. The shield is a hell of a thing. And yes, I did tackle that some time ago. All right, well, I'm going to crack on. If you do this a lot, you're going to have to get in and just fill the, you know, flatten it a little bit, because it might be too much of a, it needs to be, you know, the sides of the ridge shouldn't be too soft, they should be flatter. Like that, you see. Details, details. You get the idea? You can even pull that up a little bit. Nice. All right, the other one in here has a beautiful little curve. Let me see. And there's not much space here, but it comes in. It comes in and under. It's in and under here. this. Extraordinary. Yeah, just at the point where the brow continues down. It's like in there. Very odd. Okay, and then this shoots back up to a nice curve with a smaller loop than its neighbour. It's in here, this kind of position. I'm just roughly, there's no point in going crazy about getting the line perfect, because you would waste time if your position wasn't good. Just make some marks. Like I can already see, I think that's needs to be a shallower curve. So just add and remove. Add and remove. Oh damn, I've still got the I've still got the mask on from before. Huh. Another mistake. I should have got rid of that before I started the new mask, because I don't need all that extra stuff regenerated. So I should be able to get rid of it more quickly. Like this. Like that. Right, okay. Let me see this in relation to its neighbour. Yeah, I think it needs to... Gosh, I'm worried that this comb thing needs to come down further, but not so much according to the reference. Not according to the reference, but when I look at this 3/4 image, yeah, that's strange. This should be further up, that should be further down. Oh well. I know this needs to be more like here. Yeah. That's pretty good. Around there. I'm lucky it's nice and quiet here most of the time. There's a pub next door and it gets pretty rowdy on the weekends, but during the week it's mercifully quiet. I can just work away. It's a small street outside. Actually, it's a one-way street, so there's no traffic really. Unusual in suburban London. Yes, I'm in suburban London. It used to be more central, but times are changing. This looks very thick overall. Is it supposed to be that thick? Let me see. These are masterful curves, beautiful designs. So much consideration. Has gone into that. With masking, I quite like to try this thing of, you know, kind of blurring and then sharpening to take out some of the kind of some of the, you know, roughness of it can be reduced in a bit like a simplify curves on Illustrator. So I blur once, sharpen once, you know, you get more of a, it makes it look slightly more regular. Less hand, kind of shaky hand. Shaky hand problem. Right, I'm gonna try that as an extrude. So, extract, I mean. There it is. Very nice. Now, don't forget to accept. It comes up masked. Get rid of the mask. Dynamesh. And give it some smoothing. God, I love this elf stuff. It's brilliant. I'm sure some people find it too effete, but I just love the forms and this kind of very attractive curves and mimicking nature and thorny branches. Beautiful stuff. Okay. Just try and deal with some of those ridges a little bit, because you don't want them showing through. That's a bit of a problem. Want it to look nice and uniform. The eyebrows thing, I think it gets less softening. It looks a good deal sharper than these, in contrast to these sort of tendril things. They're like wonderful rose tendrils. Sometimes the thorns are not very, you know, they don't have to be that sharp. and sometimes more so, like that one. Right, this is all very thick. I need to take it down. Now, this one passes under as well. Needs to pass under the existing one. So I'll do that by hand. Just pull it back and touch. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this kind of idea. I think, you know, where things come to a point, they should come in a bit, as explained. Should always come in a touch. Okay, nice. Now, let's just have a little render for fun, because we're getting there. We're getting there. I've got a large screen. Actual size. The actual size is that. The eye immediately spots things that need fixing. Okay. This is... I thought this was supposed to be straight before, but of course it's never going to be entirely straight. Bloody love this move tool. Imagine life without the move tool. Oh my god. Trouble is that the move tool doesn't exist in the real world. Well, yeah, you can pull stuff around, but it's pretty drastic. Quite hard to implement in real life. Certainly on a large scale, it would be very hard. Well, all of this would be impossible, and not impossible, but extremely laborious. So this is why we moved digital. Because you can make all these tiny adjustments or massive adjustments with such ease. And I could even have a little dig around into that. Oh, I hit the undo slider. Hate that. Sometimes it's a real nightmare if you've got hundreds of undos. Way. And the intensity. Why is the standard for the slash tool? Sorry. Goddamn. Sales calls are most unwelcome. Right, moving on, we can come back and tidy up in various places. I want to try and get all these things masked, so I might actually use the reference for this one, because it's pretty straight on. With perspectives and everything, it's actually quite tricky to rely on. Oh, is my angle here too low? I don't think so. So anyway, let's get this masking underway. Just roughly get this in. I'm just going to get a rough position with this tool, and then with this view, I mean, and then take another look at it after. But this is an odd thing at the top. What is this? You know, get it on there and then compare. Well, I can see that it needs to come down further. All right. Okay, well, the main problem is this, all this business falls below my line here. I know that. And yeah, this is where it happens. It runs along the edge of this ridge. It comes along the ridge down here, and then I'm trying to look for my references. I need another view. Come on. Yeah. A 3/4 view. So yeah, that pushes down really far. Right down to the corner. Come on, push it down. It departs. It doesn't really depart from the curve till the very end. I'm having this speed problem. If I go too fast, I'm getting dots. But, you know, I can go pretty fast. But not super fast. I'm quite surprised. I'm a bit surprised about that, because I've got a lot of power now. I would like to be able to do this really quickly. I guess I just need to find the optimum speed. So we're coming down here and coming back up. Something like this. curves by adding and subtracting, as you would with a pen and pencil and paper. You would have an eraser, and you make a mark, and you take it away, you make another mark, and sometimes your marks are good, sometimes not so good. It would be nice to draw perfectly straight away. I guess some people can. So yeah, that's the kind of deal. This all looks a bit thick though. So I think I'll just continue this myself, and then maybe come back to you later, because this is going to take a while. I need to get all the positions. The hell is this line here? Oh yeah, it's necessary. All right, I'll see you later with progress. Bye.